Blaze,
Hello.
hello,
Oh, video.
hello.
Oh, can you see? Can you hear me?
And you, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Uh, Up, I arrive. Alors, I have some question if you want.
Okay.
It's so I take my question up.
And what's it for? Webzine.
Okay. Hello, Blaze, and
Hello.
thank you for accepting this interview. I have a basic English. My questions are prepared, but maybe I will haven't got a lot of interaction with you. Do you know some words in French?
Un petit peu.
Okay. The text vide. Okay. First question. How are you since last years?
I'm doing well. Since my heart attack, I am getting my strength back, and my voice is strong, and I'm able to do my work and do my concerts. I just have to be very careful that I don't lift heavy things. But apart from that, I'm good. And I'm really looking forward to Vulcanfest on Saturday, 20th of April. I'm very excited about that and coming to see everybody in France.
Okay. Your real name is Bayley Cook. Why did you choose to change for Blaze Bayley?
A lot of people made fun of my name because it was unusual. And in Wolfsbane, we gave ourselves really dumb nicknames. And people used to say, Bayley isn't my real first name. And when I said Blaze, no one said that's not your real name. So I just kept my nickname from then and changed my name to Blaze Bayley as my stage name. A lot of people have stage names and different things. Mostly actors more than musicians, but a few musicians have their artist name. So Blaze Bayley is my artist name because people used to ridicule my real name.
Okay. Your actuality is this shows to come to celebrate the 30 years of your entrance in Iron Maiden. Will you play only tracks of your period or same stuff for Paul Diano and Bruce Dickinson eras?
I will play songs from my period because if you want to hear Bruce Dickinson and Paul Diano, you can go and see them. But you can't hear my era of Iron Maiden songs now. They're not in the Iron Maiden set. And some of the songs that I do in my set, like Como Estas, Amigos, and Virus, have never been played live by Iron Maiden. The only way you can see them is to see me if you want to hear the original voice singing those songs. So I do that and a couple of my own songs from my solo career because people come and see me and they say, I haven't seen you since 1996 or 1998. and they don't know about my music now. So it's nice to play a couple of songs from my solo career and say, well, this is what I'm doing now, and this is what I was doing back then. I'm very proud of everything I did with Iron Maiden, Man on the Edge, Future Real, Sign of the Cross, The Clansman. All of these songs mean a great deal to me from what I learned when I was writing with the band. When I joined and we did the X Factor, there was no music written. And Steve Harris said, I don't care who writes the songs, as long as the songs are great. So that's what we did together. We worked as a band and we wrote the songs and recorded the album. And I'm very proud of the 2 albums that we did. And I'm very proud of the song Virus. I do my own version of it and fans seem to like it.
Okay, well, I have to say that Virtual 11 is one of my favorite Maiden album, and I love Virus and X Factor too.
Well, that's good news.
So when you was in Iron Maiden, the band played a lot of songs live of Bruce Dickinson era, and only Iron Maiden and Wild Child of the beginning. Your voice is closer Paul than Bruce. Why didn't choose to play songs like Phantom of the Opera, Running Free, or Killers, for example, in the period of...
We did do Murders in the Rue Morgue as well. So, yeah, that's it, basically. We were doing a lot of what was in the set from the newer albums, and also we wanted to do a lot of new things. So we did a lot of new songs from X Factor and Virtual 11. But I really do like the Paul era, and I like singing those songs. So Wrathchild is one of my favourite Iron Maiden songs, and it's a lot of fun to do live. And Tim Ripper Owens and myself, we did a tour together in South America, and we sang that song together, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay. The first time that I've seen you, that I've seen Iron Maiden was with you on the virtual tour at Nice, Théâtre de Verdure. Do you remember this show?
Yeah, Nice was absolutely fantastic. So very, very cool show. And I think Eddie might have fallen over at that show in Nice. I think that was the one. Or he either fell over or he came out for 2 steps and then went back. So we had a lot of fun with Eddie on that tour. I love playing in France, and it's a great sense of pride for me to be able to play those big shows in France, and to come back to France now and do my own tours. And my last couple of shows in France have been sold out, and it's my dream to be an important artist in France.
Okay. I read that the first time you went at Steve Harris' home, you stepped on his dog's sheets and that redecorated the house. Can you tell us this story?
The dog shit directly behind my car, and I went to get something from the boot of my car, and my lyrics, and I came back in, and I didn't see that I stepped in the dog shit. So that was the first session, and we had to clean up the dog shit because the cleaner just went home. But we wrote Man on the Edge, so it was maybe good luck.
Okay. I have 2 autobiographies, Paul and Bruce. Do you think we can read yours one day?
There is an autobiography about me and the era of the band called At the End of the Day. It's by Lawrence Patterson, and it's available on Kindle.
Okay. So you have a new record with Bayley, Circle of Stone. What can you tell us about it?
Well, so far, my hardcore fans that have been with me for a long time really like the album called Circle of Stone, and it comes in two parts. The first part is songs, independent, one called Mind Reader about not believing what people predict for your future. Tears in Rain is about the character Roy from Blade Runner. Rage is a true story about someone who loses their temper and kills their best friend. The Year Beyond This Year is about getting your strength back from nothing. Ghost in a Bottle is about trapping all of your negative feelings in a bottle, if that was possible, like a genie in a bottle, and then looking at them and seeing that your troubles and problems are much smaller. And Broken Man is a song of gratitude to my fans from me for all the support that my fans, my family, my friends have given me so that I could get to this point in my career. And then side two is a story that I came up with. And this story is about the ancestors, a forgotten tribe, and how you must become the leader. And you don't want the responsibilities. And the ancestors call to you from the dream world in this song, the beginning of side two, song 7, a magical number. The ancestors call from the dream world and they call you to your responsibility to become the leader and gather together the lost tribe and find your lost homeland. But you are a materialistic, selfish, shallow man, and you must become the righteous man and follow the path of the righteous man and do things that are selfless. And that's the story of side two. And so far, people seem to really identify with that, and it's going really well. We're playing quite a few new songs on the Stone tour. We played some songs from the album, and people really liked it.
Okay. I've seen you in March at Marseille, and I thought the versions of the album are more sophisticated and raw in live. Do you agree or not?
Well, I tried to keep things very simple compared to what I've done before, musically and lyrically. I always love to find complicated and unusual words to rhyme and phrase things in a certain way. But with this album, I tried to keep things quite simple. But there are a lot of spooky coincidences on this album. That Circle of Stone, there is a voice. I wanted something different to be the ancestors, the voice from the dream world. And we got in touch with Niklas from the band Wolf in Sweden.
Yes.
And he actually had a stone circle in his village. And that was, we just decided to call the album Circle of Stone. And his voice fitted so perfectly, so different to mine, that you absolutely know it's something else. And it really does feel to me as a voice from the past, the voice of the ancestors. And in my song Absence, which is track 9, there is a lyric which says, "From my chest, my heart is torn." Well, that was before I had a heart attack, and that describes open heart surgery. They take your heart out of your chest to work on it, and then they stitch it all back together and put it back in your chest. So there's a lot of very spooky coincidences on the Circle of Stone album, and I think that gives it some kind of magic.
Okay. About Niklas, I think his voice looks like Mike Howe of Metal Church. Do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I think his voice is unusual. You could say it's in that way, going towards the old style of Rob Halford. But there's something about the edge of his voice. He's a Viking after all. He comes from Viking heritage and Viking ancestors. And I think there's some element of darkness in his voice, which really goes well on the Call of the Ancestors part of the album.
Okay. There is a box version with of the album with some goodies. Can you describe this one?
With a song, sorry, I didn't quite catch that. A song what?
With some goodies, patch.
That's for the pre-order. So if you pre-ordered the album, then you could get a patch and a specially signed small poster that you can frame. And all of my fans that ordered that package got those special things. And it's those pre-orders that mean we can print the album at all. We wouldn't be able to do it without the support of my fans. I have to order in advance, and then they get special things in that. But now it's the regular vinyl and CD, so there's no extras.
Okay. It's a fifth album you make with the musicians of Absolva. Do you think this lineup is the good?
Yeah, I think we have a shorthand to the way that we do things. I'm very difficult to work with, and I'm direct, and I have a very clear vision of how I want things to be and sound, and that's not easy, but they find a way to get along and help me get my artistic vision onto the album and into the recordings, and they managed to put up with me. So I think it's good, and everyone is very hard working and working towards being the best possible band and making the best album that we can possibly make together as a band. So I think it's worked very well, and we have very high expectations of each other and how the music that we come up with, how good it should be. And that's often challenging, but we won't let go. We don't go, that will do. Is that the absolutely the best thing we can do with the resources that we have? And we want that answer to be yes. We want your Blaze Bayley album to be as good as the first Blaze Bayley album, and we want you to love it as much as every other Blaze Bayley album, even though it has to be different. It has to move in a different direction or move forward or do some unexpected things, because as an artist I have to try to find out what's in the shadows and what's at the edge of the cliff and look down and see, I'll take that. That will be a part of the story of my album.
Okay. You made 3 videos: Mind Reader, Circles of Stone, and Rage. I have a little problem with this one, Rage, because it contains a passage of dog's murder. Can you explain the story of this song?
Well, I avoid using the word dog and I avoid using the word hound. The story is of Prince Llewellyn in Welsh history, and he lost his temper. What happened was he called for his favourite hound, Gelert, as he was going hunting, but Gelert did not appear. So he went hunting, and when he came back, there was Gelert, the hound, to greet him, but he had blood on his face. And Prince Llewellyn thought the worst and thought, the hound has killed my baby son. And he lost his temper and he killed the dog, the hound, his best friend. And then he heard his baby son cry out, and then he saw a dead wolf. And Gelert, his faithful hound, had fought to the death with a wolf to protect his baby son. And I thought, for those of us that love animals, then this was a good way to show that a dog can be your best friend. And for many of us, our dog has been our best friend at certain times in our life and completely faithful. And the consequences of living with your actions when you lose your temper and do things from hatred and anger.
So that's a real story.
A true story, yes.
A true
You can
story.
look it up. The Legend of Gelert. You can Google it.
So I've seen you in March at Marseille for the 7th time. Why can you tell about French heavy metal connection who worked with you each time?
Well, we're very, very lucky to have their support, and they've supported me for a lot of years when venues or promoters in France weren't interested at all, because I'm a small independent artist, and they believed in me and supported me when people that were only concerned with business and money and things like that weren't interested in me. So it's nice to be involved with other people that are independent, and we try to make this a rule wherever we go and play venues that are owned and operated by independent people, not part of like O2 and things like this, not part of a franchise, but individually owned places and individual promoters that put on their own events. So it's been really good to have their support over so many years.
Okay. You always play Iron Maiden songs on stage. Some of them are written with you, but someone not. Does the band approve? And do you have a kind of benediction?
Well, what we do is there's a couple of things that if you don't know my solo work and I'm doing my solo tour, like the Circle of Stone tour, then I think it's nice if we have a couple of my old songs from Iron Maiden that perhaps you would know. And a lot of my new songs on War Within Me and on Circle of Stone album are really influenced by my time in Iron Maiden. So I think it's nice. I don't like to go and see famous artists with a big history and not hear anything from the past. Whenever I went to see Ronnie James Dio when he was alive, then he always had something old, something that would go back for the old fans like me that have been there and loved his music for so many years. He always found something to do. So I try and do the same, really.
Okay. On stage, you often thank your fan, and after show, you are always here for all photos and autograph. What is your opinion of the bands who have meet and greets not free?
Well, I've had to change now my meet and greet because of my heart attack and my health. I can't do it after now. I do meet and greet before the show, just for an hour, and it's only 3 items. I can't do what I used to do because of my health. So it's included in your ticket price, but it's for an hour, normally from doors. If doors are 7, I do from 7 till 8. And I normally manage to get most people, but to do that, you can only have 3 items and a selfie. It's included in your ticket price. I can't sign after the show because it's the most dangerous time for my health. I have to stay calm. It's very bad for my voice as well to talk after the show as my voice goes down. So that's the way that we do it now. And really, some people have to charge for their meet and greet because they need the money. That's it. I have a very simple life, a very small team. Everybody works really, really hard so that we can make that meet and greet included in the ticket price, and we don't charge any extra. So when you come to see Bayley, you know, if you get there early, you can come to the meet and greet. It's included in your ticket price. And you have to be aware that the nature of the music business has changed drastically in the last 30 years. 35 years ago, you could sell a lot of CDs, and the profit from those CDs you could put towards your tour. You didn't need any more money. And now the money that you make on the tour and has to be enough to keep you going for the rest of the time. So it's a different shape. When I joined Iron Maiden, the record company EMI, one of the biggest record companies ever, they sold every manufacturing plant for vinyl and CDs. Gone. The year I joined, when I joined Iron Maiden, because they thought everything would be streamed, and they were wrong. Everything is not streamed. Nerdy, geeky collectors like me and my fans, we still like to own the record. We still like to have the record in our hands. We still like to read the lyrics and feel the record as we listen to the music. And for me as an artist, I want great artwork. I want something that asks a question and gives you the first step for your imagination to take off and become involved in my music. So it's a different world now. Some people need to do those paid meet and greets. And some, for me, my pride, I need to say thank you to my fans. And that's why I do my meet and greet.
Okay. One of your ancient drummers, Larry Peterson, play now with Alcatraz. Are you listened what they do actually?
Yeah, and Larry's doing a fantastic job. I've been to see the band and said hi to Larry, and they're just doing a fantastic job. They've just been confirmed for the Wacken Festival. So really good. And the odd thing is I liked Alcatraz with Steve Vai and Yngwie Malmsteen, and I had those albums. So when I heard that Larry was in Alcatraz, I went, oh yeah, this is going to be good. And a great bunch of guys.
Okay. About Wolfsbane, what's the news that in France are possible?
We are hoping that one day we can come to France. We would love to come back and do 1 or 2 shows in France. It's just something that we always talk about and we would love to do. If we could do it next year, I don't know, but we would really like to. We have the new album called Genius, which we feel is the best album that we've made as a complete album. All of the songs are really strong and we feel very proud of the Genius album. And we're working on something top secret right now. In between everything else that we all do, we get together and we work on little bits and pieces.
One question that I've forgotten. Is it true that 4 tracks of A Brave New World of Iron Maiden are worked with you before Bruce Dickinson returned? And if it's true, which ones?
Well, I don't talk about that in interviews.
Okay, donc last question that I ask generally to singers. Would you accept to sing a cappella a passage of The Edge of Darkness?
To sing a cappella?
Yes, without music.
Yeah, I often do that.
No?
I often sing a cappella.
Okay. Okay, so thanks you for this interview.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, oui, yes.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yes.
And I wish you the very best with it. Please tell people about Vulcan Fest on the 20th of April. And thanks, merci beaucoup to my French fans, mes amis, merci beaucoup.
Thanks you.
Thanks, Manuel. See you next time, mate. See you out there. Cheers, bye.